Ubisoft will deliver the first ever open world game set in the Star Wars universe. Massive Entertainment are the ones making the game, the same team that made Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. And yep, I liked it. I liked it. It's been over an hour. 72 hours later. First, when it got revealed, it looked quite promising. Handcrafted planets, more emphasis on quality rather than quantity, dense cities with civilians and NPCs. And I think all gamers like myself have been screaming for more quality from Ubisoft the last few years. Quite a few years. The more I see about this game, I don't know whether I'm excited to play the game or it's just another game where it's just going to be a little bit mundane. So in this video, we are going to run through 10 things you need to know about Star Wars Outlaws. Star Wars Outlaws is a single-player third-person action-adventure game which takes place between the events of The Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi. We play as Kay Vess along with her little companion Nix, who will be able to do a few cool things to help us in the game, which we'll come to later. Kay is an outlaw and her story starts on the planet Akira, and she has a desire to fight for freedom. During this, the Empire is still going strong and Kay Vess is a scoundrel who's trying to survive in the galactic underworld. She will be attempting to pull off one of the biggest heists in the Outer Rim while trying to outmaneuver the reach of the Empire. At the same time, the criminal syndicates are trying to make as much money as possible from the galaxy chaos. And as I said, she is seeking freedom for a new life, along with Nix, but also her reprogrammed commando ND5. Now, being a Star Wars game, it's a bit of a bummer that there's no lightsabers. Kay Vess is more of a grounded character and it's just set in that universe. I think that can still work. She has no abilities, just yourself, your skills, Nix, your blaster, and any other weapons you use during combat. My main concern for the game is the main protagonist, and it's not because she's a woman in case you're trying to cancel me, no. I'm just hoping that the writers and the people responsible with the story and the character, I hope there is a story arc to Kay Vess. I just hope it's not another, you know, strong independent character. She can do this, she can do that, and there's just nothing to her. There's just nothing likable. I want her to be relatable so we can be like, wow, she is an outlaw. Yeah, she's seeking for freedom. She's gone through a massive journey. I hope she's got some emotion to her, you know, some likability. The story doesn't actually get me going. Okay, she's seeking for freedom and she has to do these jobs and she can build a reputation with certain groups. The story doesn't grab me at all, and that is another big concern. But whatever you do, just don't make her an unlikable character, all right? Please don't make her a strong independent woman and that's her superpower, you know? We've already got that in recent years.
You've never met a strong female-ass character, have you?
Now, as we've seen from the gameplay footage, this game is heavily focused on stealth. And even though you can go through the game and blast your way through, I doubt that it's going to be the right approach. Because the previews that have been shown, I've seen a lot of gameplay where if you're in an area and the guards get alerted, they will probably ring the alarm and that is where hell will break loose and you are just waiting for your inevitable death. I actually like that there is more of an emphasis on stealth. During these stealth encounters, the one thing that I instantly laughed at was when you got these damn stormtroopers or enemies with full of armor, and then Kay would just get behind them and then she'll give them a good slap on the head and then she basically knocked them out. They've got armor on. I think in that instant, they should have given her some sort of metal glove or a metal arm where if you just slap them, what's the point in the armor? What are they made out of? It's her hand, and plus she's a woman. She's going to be a little bit weaker than if it was a man.
Shit.
Another concern for me is the NPCs. I'm sure you guys know, Ubisoft do make some really good NPCs, but we're going to get to that.
Oh! He needs some milk.
But during stealth, what else adds a little bit more depth to the character is Nix, your trusty sidekick. And a lot of these games, you always have a sidekick like Jedi Survivor with Cal and BD1. And I'm glad Outlaws will have something because she has no powers or lightsabers. So I think this is only a good thing and it's going to add to the gameplay. Nix will be able to distract enemies, attack enemies, push buttons, and also bring back weapons to Kay. And throughout the world, sometimes Kay may say something to Nix about finding something, and then you can follow Nix to a location and then you can get a little reward at the end. It does feel a little bit like Assassin's Creed with the stealth, but when you are not in stealth, you will have gun combat. It's a bit weird that we've only got one weapon that we can store. Kay will have a permanent weapon which will be the VM19 Heavy Blaster, which will have 3 modes. You'll have the standard blaster mode, a focus mode, and a stun mode. As you can see, the standard mode is just your standard shooting, whilst the focus mode, it looks like it's a bit more heavy shooting, as in the gameplay it was able to get rid of these enemies' shield, and then she could go up to them and use her normal human arm to knock the guard out. Then you have the stun mode, which you will probably be using a lot during stealth, as it is silent, and I believe it will instantly knock out enemies. You will have these iron balls which you can switch to on your blaster, which will again stun enemies, and then you can run up on them and then take them out. And I also like that you have this dead eye sort of Red Dead effect sort of ability where you're able to slow down time and then tag a few enemies and then shoot them all at once. There is a cooldown to this, but at least there's some sort of variety. Like, this looks good. And that's the thing, when I say that it looks good, like, it doesn't look incredible, it doesn't look revolutionary. That's a little bit of my concern when I see this. For a new game, especially for how much these games are nowadays, this is supposed to get me excited. And the one thing that I find that is really frustrating about the game, and I think more people should talk about it, you can only have one weapon.
What?
Yes, there's certain modes to her weapon and you can upgrade it, which we're going to come to, but you can only pick up enemy weapons during combat and you cannot store them. And there are some really cool weapons that the enemies have, but it's just really annoying that we only get one damn weapon. Like, I'm thinking, for a Star Wars game, your main weapon is a flipping gun and you only get one of them. I just find that a bit weird. I feel like at least have 3 to 4 different weapons, surely. No?
Anyone?
They are adding more to the gameplay because you will be able to fly in space with your ship, and there is combat in the game, which again looks pretty fun. And if you are wanted on a certain planet, then you will get bounties after you, which looks pretty cool. What I think is a good step up from typical Ubisoft games is that there is no traditional skill tree. There is something different called experts. What seems a bit more interesting is that Kay will have to track down these criminal experts. So first you'll have to gather intel and find out where they are, and then they will want you to complete a certain number of missions for them. And after you have earned their trust, then it will unlock a new upgrade path, like allowing Kay to react quickly during alerted enemies and so forth. Not only that, is that this will be the way that you'll be able to upgrade your ship and your speeder. Also, some of these experts are not tied to the main campaign, which means seeking out these criminals will add a bit more side story and content. Some criminal missions, like we saw on one of the gameplay, you will complete a mission that will allow you to add a turret to your ship. There will be the ability to customize Kay with her clothing, but a lot of YouTubers have said do not expect a lot of variety, as only a few of them found gear and a bit of clothing in the world. Now, if it's on the level of Jedi Survivor, I thought there was a decent amount of customization to Cal. I don't think you can customize her hair. I don't think they mentioned that. But with Cal, you could customize his hair, his clothes. Obviously, he had the lightsaber and the colors. I felt like there was a decent step up from the first game. If there's that many cosmetics, I think I'll be happy with that. I think. Shame you can't customize her jawline because she doesn't actually look like the actual actress that they're basing it off.
What the hell is even that?
Yeah, we're going to come to that. How much customization you will have to wait, but of course, as you can see from the Ultimate Edition of the game, it will come with the Sabak Shark Bundle and the Rogue Infiltrator Bundle, which are cosmetics for yourself, your ship, and Nyx. Of course, you'll need to fork out more money to get those.
Oh, it is so worth it.
Really? Now, the big thing I'm interested in is the missions. Are the missions going to be exciting? Is there going to be variety? I don't know. Or will it just be like a fetch quest, kill some enemies, retrieve that, and then you move over to the next area? Well, we have seen quite a lot of missions so far from a few YouTubers. It looks like cities will be dense with people, you'll be able to hear dialogue, and it looks quite interesting. I just hope there are more things to do instead of it looks quite dense and I can just hear a few NPCs talking and then you just move on. But to receive information, Kay needed to eavesdrop in order to get some intel. There is going to be a bit of choice in the game on how you get to a target or complete a mission, which I'm quite glad. We do need some variety from these open world Ubisoft games. So for example, there was a mission where Kay needed to get the pike leader, and there are some different ways to get in. You can look to bribe or convince the bartender to let you in, or buy a VIP ticket from someone and then pay a mechanic to help you further to drop down an elevator. But then someone else didn't pay the mechanic and was able to hack into an event in order to get down. So instead of wasting your credits, you could have done that. So I do like the fact that there is a lot more variety. Like even with Assassin's Creed Mirage, some of the missions missions had a little bit of variety. Looking back, there wasn't much. Like how to get into an area, you could bribe someone, or you could sneak in, or you could use some guards to go in with them and then they'll help you. Like there was only like 3 options. It felt quite robotic because you just had 3 options. It sounds like there's a little bit more variety where it's not holding your hand and it's like, all right, figure it out. Speak to some NPCs, figure out what you're gonna do. And I think that's a lot more exciting. I'm surprised paying that bartender, it's not real money. There were other missions where you would traverse on walls and platforms, and it looks very Uncharted style to collect certain items, and there are some scripted action scenes running through, and it looks pretty cool. I just hope these missions feel rewarding, not just like, oh wicked, you got some credits, you got a new outfit. Cool. Next one, I want it to feel like I've achieved something. Obviously, you have the action sequences during missions with shooting enemies. Again, some of these NPCs look really dead stupid. They just like, oh my gosh, it just looks like Assassin's Creed Mirage.
Oh! Somebody! Oh! He needs some milk!
There will be a wanting system in the game where if you keep killing enemies, just enemies by the way, you cannot steal civilians' bikes because they'll be riding them in the world. You cannot kill or hurt civilians. You can't kill any animals. Well, I'm not saying killing animals. You know me about animals. I don't do that in games, but I'm just saying you're an outlaw and you can't really do a lot of criminal activity. Even civilians' bikes, can I not nick them? Stormtroopers will be after you, and this can raise all the way to level 6. At the start, enemies will be after you, and you can just ride around trying to get away from them. As you get higher, they will start landing Imperial ships and more troopers, roadblocks, and then when you get to level 6, something will pop up on the screen and it will say reach the Death Troopers, and you will have to hack into the system to remove your wanted level. It's quite cool. Even when you're in space, your wanted level will keep with you to a degree. Not sure at what point you cannot get rid of it, but I believe it is when you get to level 6. If you do get caught, all will happen is that you get caught, you lose some credits, and I think it is the same as getting killed. And then you will respawn. Now, what else is quite cool about the game is that there are 4 factions. Well, 5, but the Zarek Besh are the main antagonists against Cade. The other 4, you will be able to build a reputation with those factions. You have the Ashiga, which looks very cool with their helmets and hoodies. You've got the Hutt clan led by the one and only Jabba the Hutt. You've got the Pikes, got some weird shaped helmets, and then you have the Crimson Dawn, who is led by Lady Kira, and they usually work in the shadows. Now you can improve your reputation or relationship with these factions in the form of contracts, and you can hold 3 at a time. Some of them will take place in space. Again, pretty cool. I don't know if by the end of the game your relationship with certain factions, if they're higher or lower, will it affect the main story? I don't think it will. I might be wrong. It's probably just something throughout the game. It will make aspects of your playthrough a lot easier or harder in certain situations. Some dialogue options will make you choose to keep or share information and will show you how your reputation will change with each faction. Where it will become easier or harder is that each clan will control certain districts in the cities. If you have a good reputation, then you can walk right in, but if you don't, you will have to sneak in. But you can't use your weapons, and if you get caught, it will restart. What really doesn't make sense to me is that it's been described that it's quite easy to regain your reputation with a certain faction. I just think it's a bit weird because it's been described that if you double cross someone right after a main mission, it's very easy to just increase your reputation afterwards, and it doesn't really have an effect. So it doesn't look like your actions are going to have major consequences to a certain faction. It can always be changed, it looks like. And you cannot hold a high reputation with all 4 at the same time. There are some cool outfits to get from each, so you have to damage one reputation with one in order to increase another to the top level. Now, along with the main story, there is quite a lot of other things you'll be able to do in this game. Like there are races to be done with your speedster, which looks a lot of fun, especially when you are able to upgrade your speedster. I hope there are like things you get not just from completing it, certain time ranks like Final Fantasy Rebirth. If you complete a level to a high level or you get a good score, you get certain levels based off your results. You can bet on races with this alien horses, and what a good example Ubisoft is setting for the younger generation by showing what betting is like on the horses and putting it into their game. And based off these horses or alien horses, you can make a decision based off their past performance and form, which looks quite cool. And what else is quite cool is that some of the NPCs may talk about certain races and can actually help you with the decision to make on a future race, which instead of just going through the cities and not listening to the NPCs, like Assassin's Creed for example, it's great hearing these conversations and you're like, it doesn't mean nothing, it's just trying to add to the atmosphere. It's quite cool that you will have to pay attention and it could affect your choice in a good or bad way. There's like a Space Invaders game which looks quite neat, but also a card game called Sabat. You have to match 2 cards at the end of the round, and the lower the better, but as you progress you will be able to use Nix to check on on the other player's cards, and this is to win credits. And I'm sure there are more things to do, but those are the main ones for now. But for me, as long as the main game is fun and the story is enticing and interesting, then you know, that's what I want. I'm hoping at the minute. Because at the minute, it just looks a bit meh. Now, there is one thing we always say about Ubisoft games. The environments they make, they do look beautiful. And especially with Star Wars Outlaws, this open world game does look incredible. Apart from that little cutscene where she stepped over a grenade and it blew up and it looked like a PS3 graphics. But as we progress, it's not just about the beauty of the game. Avatar, I thought, was a stunning game, but 80% of the game let me down. Like 20% of the main campaign was good, but the 80% of it was really boring, and the visual effects, it wore off because the main game just wasn't as exciting for me. But anyways, there are 5 planets you will get to visit in Outlaws, and we just got another trailer from Ubisoft that's showcasing some of the worlds. They only showed 4, but I assume one of them is near the end, and they probably didn't want to show the whole game. At the minute, I feel like I've seen 80% of the game. I don't know if you guys feel like that as well. God, some of these trailers, like, they really try and sell it to you, and then they end up just showing us everything. You have Akiva, which looks stunning, even in the city with the NPCs and the life that is around. You have Toshara, which looks like we'll be here quite early. The cities and the underground areas look amazing, but in early gameplay, it looks like there's a lot of empty spaces, so we're just gonna have to see. We've got Kajimi, the snowy planet, which looks like it has a lot of like levels to it. Tatooine, which I probably got that wrong, is the desert planet, which again looks like there's a lot of empty area, but still looks beautiful. And the last one is Cantonica, if I got that right, which we haven't seen yet. It has been said that it will take around 4 to 5 minutes to travel on your Speedster, which is only a good thing. They have stated that they are focused on quality, as these planets are hand generated and everything is placed specifically. And again, I just hope that the exploration just feels natural. It feels like you want to see more. It feels like you just want to take your time. That's what you want in the game. You do get a grapple hook, which looks kind of cool, where you'll be able to traverse up cliffs, and there will be guidance for certain players, but you will be able to turn these options off. So for example, if you see like a certain color on the cliffside, it means you can climb up there, but there is a choice whether you want to turn that off. Star Wars Outlaws is dropping on the 30th of August on PS5, Xbox, and PC. And as you know, there are going to be some additions to the game. For the base game and pre-order bonus, you're looking at $69.99 or £59.99. Wow. Base game, pre-order bonus. That's it. The gold edition coming in at $109.99 or £94.99. That is crazy. Wow. Comes with the pre-order bonus and 3 days early access and the season pass wildcard and a Pirate's Fortune narrative expansions. Also, the day 1 exclusive mission. Of course, there is a mission locked behind a paywall, which I think is so dumb. Just give everyone the content, whatever. And you also get the Kennel Runner character pack. The Ultimate Edition, which will cost you your house and your car at $129.99 or £114.99.
Oh my gosh, you've lost it. £115 for the... Was it the Gold Edition? No, the Ultimate Edition.
£15. Imagine if I was like, I'm going to buy a game, £115. You know how much food that could get me at Aldi? No Collector's Edition, which probably would have been £1 million. It's said that it will take around 25 to 30 hours to complete, which for a Ubisoft game is pretty short. And for a completionist, it'll probably take double that. So that's quite short for a Ubisoft game. When I first saw Star Wars Outlaws, I wasn't too keen on the game. It looked pretty cool from that first gameplay reveal, but as I've seen more of it, it does look better. It looks like a good game. One of the main problems for me is the story and the character of Kay Vess. The story just doesn't really entice me. Okay, you're an outlaw. Okay, cool. When I look at games and story, I look at games like Black Myth Wukong. As of this video, I probably would have done the live stream, but I'm excited because it's about Chinese mythology, it's about a monkey, and it just sounds enticing. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, my gosh, the story from 7 Remake, the story entices me. Final Fantasy 16, when I play that, so many games, even Banisher's Ghost of New Eden, there's a story to it, and I'm like, all right, I'm interested. With here, it just feels like, yeah, this is an open world game, you'll be able to do some stuff, and you're an outlaw. Cool. £200! With Outlaws, it just doesn't seem to be much to it, especially with the story. It looks like a fun game, but how long will that last? I don't know. Ubisoft said they're slowing down on how big they make their games and focusing more on quality, and that's great, but they're not looking to revolutionize anything. The combat looks okay, the graphics look good, and yeah. After Avatar, I think that was the last time I felt like I gave Ubisoft a chance, and I just feel like for Star Wars Outlaws, it looks like a good game, but with Ubisoft, we were used to innovation and raising the bar to their work, and it's just another open world generic good game. Not saying it's going to be a bad game, I'm just saying, you know what you're going to get nowadays with Ubisoft. If I wasn't doing YouTube, I wouldn't buy the game. I wouldn't drop the money for it. But since I'm doing YouTube, of course I'm going to buy the game so you can see your first impressions, so I can get a review out and obviously help build this YouTube career. I just want to make it clear. And if you're thinking about getting this game, I think just wait for reviews and wait for a sale, because there's no doubt by Christmas or by the end of the year, there's going to be massive discounts for it. And I also have to mention, why doesn't Kay Vess look like the actual model they based her off? There's obviously a thing here. You have other games, which I'm going to put on the screen, that look exactly like their model. Males especially, but also females. Ones from like Death Stranding. But for some reason, they take a beautiful model. She's a beautiful model, the model. And they've just made her less feminine. You can tell. And it just makes you crazy. It's like, isn't that what you were supposed to do? Isn't that what they do with games where they just literally take exactly the model, like, this is what it's going to look like? You just know why. I just think it's very bizarre. Kay could be a very good character in this game if she has a very good story arc. And I just hope that she does. But anyways, what do you think about this video? What do you think about Star Wars Outlaws? I want to know what you think. Will you be buying this day one? Are you not interested? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let me know. Let's take a look at the comment of the day from my previous video. 10 things you need to know about Black Myth Wukong. Shout out to Luau. I'm from China, and here's the buzz from the Chinese web. The game based on Journey to the West is getting a major plot twist, so just knowing the basics is enough. It's got some Soul-like vibes, but it might be more like God of War, not too tough. The transformation system is pretty cool, but some might be permanent while others are more like skills, you know, like Neo. And about those 80 bosses, that's just a guess from a fan community using trailers and their wild imagination. I'm pretty sure that's how it went down. Thank you for the comment, my man. I really appreciate it. And as of this video, you would have seen a first impressions on live stream of Black Myth Wukong, one of my most anticipated games of this year. I just think it looks like an amazing game once you get used to it. It's just crazy. We have to mention some of the reviews. What was it? I can't remember the company. What was that review? They gave it a down score because there was a lack of diversity and inclusivity. You're playing as a damn monkey. What do you want? A Karen to just walk on screen? Hey, how you doing? Hey, Sun Wukong. Hey, is this where we're coming with some of these game reviews? I don't understand. Some of them will be out of business very soon because it's just getting hilarious. Yeah.